moves slow, time moves fast. In this dance we call the past. Mental health, a fragile thread, but we'll find strength. Let love spread, life's a climb. Just take a step, rise above, find your breath. In the darkness we will find a shining light to free our mind, to free our mind. Self-growth blooms like petals bloom, shedding tears will heal the wounds and the chaos. Let's find peace, embrace the pain, let it release.
Relax your mind. It's divine time.
Yo, 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 yo. Mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Mic check.
Hi, Mr. Sigma Uno.
No.
So how do you?
I can't hear because you got it on headphones.
Yeah.
No, I cannot.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome to Divine Time Podcast, a space where where we explore the depths of spiritual growth, life's most profound lessons, and the true purpose of love. I'm your host, Bounty Divine, and I invite you to join me on a journey of introspection and discovery. Together, let's explore the beauty of spiritual growth, the wisdom hidden in life's challenges, and the transformative power of love. Hey, Mr. Impossible, you gotta tell
Yes,
who
sir.
you are.
Name is Impossible. Prince King God. Entrepreneur, author, artist, one who brings evolution to this time span. We here to share that light, bring the evolution and liberation, and have a good time.
Mr. and Mrs. Sigma Uno.
I'm Sigma Uno, and my wife is Miss Sigma Uno. We are a couple that has served our community and is still serving the community, entrepreneurs, and lovers of all things spirituality.
Ooh, respect. So with it, today I have in store something I know is probably going to trigger a bunch of people for the reasons that are believed to them. I ain't gonna call nobody out. But I've learned that everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. What I mean by that is a lot of individuals, and I'm not talking about just in like religion. Honestly, I'm not really even talking religion in general. So anybody who can come on here and try and Bible thump me later on, listen to what I gotta say. Listen to what we have to say. Which I have a feeling somebody's going to end up jumping on and try and bringing up religion anyway. But there's a lot of them. Say what? Oh yeah, it's definitely going to come. With heaven, what does heaven mean to y'all? I'm gonna ask that before I start rolling into the things that I want to say.
I don't know how to answer that.
Yeah, because
like I don't have words. I don't have words to actually define what that means to me. So I would have to pass that on to someone who could equally break that down in the terms and the words. I don't got it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to. I mean, I can tell you what they say the definition of it is, but
that's all we really have to stand by.
That's going back to what they say the history of it is with regards to the Bible. It is literally a system above. So, system above the higher plane of existence, or it says in Genesis, it says that he divided the waters. There was void. He divided the waters, and there was a firmament in the midst of the waters, and divided the waters from the waters. So that means above us is water, and above that water is another. Man, how many levels to heaven? They speak of a few in the King James Version of the Bible, but that's not the limit. And again, when we talk about the published work versus what actually is, you can't really put a number on. And then we can talk about what people's aspirations are or what they believe it is. versus what they're living, or a place that they aspire to go to or aspire to be. But you have to really understand the system of it, and that doesn't give it enough. That doesn't give it enough content at all. It doesn't.
Yeah, I agree there. For me, what I've understood when it comes down to this term heaven, the only thing that we really have to go off of is what is pushed on us, which happens to be in religious texts. And the gist that I get from it is it's this magnificent place where everything is great and there is no negativity and things along those lines. They say like the streets will be paved with gold in some religions. Some religions say that you'll have like 12 virgins or 24 virgins or something like that. I mean, like they have like these ideas. Ultimately, what I was noticing recently is there's always an opposite of something. So with the heaven, you supposedly have hell, correct?
Are you talking as far as philosophy and myth?
Yeah,
I'm talking about everything happening opposite. So if there was a heaven, what would the opposite be?
So yes, we are incarnated in a realm of duality. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So what would the opposite of a heaven a heaven? Because I mean that's the I guess I want to say paradise, but when you say paradise, people think like living on an island with coconuts and the sun's hitting you nice and you just chilling, relaxing and stuff. Which come on. What
like the idea that I know more than I understand more now than what the what do you call it? It's the idea of what they say it is. It's what they say it is, and then is what it actually is. So I mean, I don't think there should be an opposite. The only reason why someone would create an opposite is to make someone believe that there's a lower plane of his existence and it's a bad place.
Okay.
Look, anywhere we're living that doesn't feel good, and if you want to call it hell, you can call it hell, but it's not secluded to a place or above or below. I remember reading about the Lake of Fire. I mean, let's talk about Africa. In Africa they considered the Lake of Fire the base of the volcano, where hot magma and brimstone would be puddled there, and then the people that lied to the king or did something against the king, he would take them and toss them into the Lake of Fire. But that's not considered hell. And even if you're talking about the Watchers and their place, the place where they were bound to, is not really hell either. It's see, this is where I can't go backwards. I can understand the concept when I didn't know better, but now I know different.
Now with it, I'm trying to have it to where anybody who was on, we can break things down. We can learn things. We can see things in a different way, you know, because the country that we live in, certain things are pushed upon us when throughout your life,
right?
And you become an outcast if you start to research or find things for yourself. Which, I mean, it makes sense because they want a nation of workers, not a nation of thinkers. So it's like, if you are a thinker and trying to find things, you're going to be ostracized. You're going to be seen as the bad person. But with this episode, ultimately, I want to get into, and Mr. Impossible is going to love this one, shifting your reality. And the way that we do that, hence the title, everyone wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. I wanted to kind of start off of what is this idea of heaven? When people think of heaven, they think of things that are everything is swell, everything is going good, or either nobody really thinks of heaven on earth. It's funny, you hear a lot of people say hell on earth, but you rarely hear anybody say something like heaven on earth. So it's just like I don't understand why the things that we say that can be on earth, why they throw a lot of negative things pertaining to earth. Why can't there be positive things pertaining to earth? And I feel like that really comes down to the mindset. Like recently, y'all can see I'm bolo head. Like me and Mr. Walter look alike right now. And the thing that gets me is the fact that I literally cut off my locks because I felt that there was hair holds memories. Do you agree or disagree?
Agree.
I literally had woke up. I can't even give you an exact date or exactly how long ago it was, and something was like, "Look, you're gonna have to cut your hair. Like it's gonna you're gonna feel different, but you need to cut your hair." And when I did, it was funny. I chopped my locks, and when I stood up out the chair, I wasn't like lightheaded, but I like stumbled a little to the side because I just didn't feel the same. Um, it's hard to explain. It's hard to explain. And the barber, he was like, "Yo, you good?" He's like, "You got lightheaded?" I was like, "No." I was like, I don't really know how to explain it, but yeah, I'm good now. I was like,
Inside every weight.
pasta doble. But ultimately, I last night, every night, like when I go to work and work overnight, I would always end up like having thoughts and stuff, and I'm trying to battle those thoughts and like get myself on like yo, what the heck? It was bothering me. Last night was the first night where I could feel the wind on my head again. In other words, since I took them off, it's like if a thought went through my head that pertained to some crap that had happened in the past, it was like instantaneously my mind frame just changed and thought about something else. Before it was like I almost would get locked onto it. Funny, locked onto it. But last night I was sitting there and I was just like doing something popped into my head and I was like, all right, cool. What do I need to do next? And then I just went and found something else to do and I didn't think about it again. And I was just like, okay. I was like, so I really was holding on to some things. But with that, as I was meditating this morning, that's when it came to me. It was like everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. And I was like, dang, the way that you look at things really can create. Yeah, I'm always open to suggestions, Rachel. But I was like, a lot of us want to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. And in the sense of dying, I'm not talking about you literally are leaving this where we are right now. Your mind frame would change, the way that you look at things. I was having a talk with one of my homegirls earlier today, and I told her, I was like, that's crazy. She was like, every day is a new day. I was like, well, if you want to talk like that, I was like, every second is a new time. I was like, so when it comes down to something like that, what happens right now, if I'm thinking about it, let's say in the next second, I'm still thinking in the past, right? So why should you hold on to anything? We can literally remove these things out of our minds, remove these things out of our life. But it's just a matter of, do you have the discipline to control yourself? Now, when it comes down to that, I really probably didn't even need to cut my locks off in order to change the way that I thought. But I guess it was just the fact that I need to feel that wind on my head for a second to remind me like, hey, you have the power. I made that choice to cut them off. I know I could have made that choice to dig deeper into myself and stop thinking the way that I was thinking. But I guess I just needed a reminder to show me like, look, you have the power. You have the option to do the things that you want to do. Everything that you do is going to put you closer or further away from the things that you are seeking or things that you have in line for yourself. It's just a matter of, are you actually going to do it? Are you going to do the things that are going to excel you, or are you going to do the things that are going to break you down? For example, if I have goals and I decide to just wake up in the morning, beat my meat, sit around, watch cartoons, and play video games, am I doing anything that's putting me closer to my goals?
Depends on what your goal is. If it has anything to do with that, I mean, it's all an individual walk, and this is my problem with organized religion, because if you're projecting a view about something and it has something to do with you as an individual, then why push that off on anyone else? Everyone's walking their own walk, and I'm not saying connecting with people doesn't and sometimes it doesn't align you with or you're not aligned with what the other person is experiencing at the time that you meet the person. But I'm saying it's an individual walk. It's what you determine your point of elevation is. To map out your life is to make a conscious decision for upward movement, if that's what you choose. Not everybody sees it that way. I see it that way. And that means during the time of my walk or me walking through my map of life, and I get to a place where I feel like I'm stuck, then what do I have to do to change or to elevate myself for the next level? If that means I need to get be more spiritual at the time, or astral travel or meditate more, then that's what I choose, and that's what I need for me to move to the next level. It's not me doing it and then saying everybody has to do it.
Hmm.
Um, it isn't. It doesn't make sense for that to happen,
Thank
because
you for
if
the.
that's the case, then everyone, then if someone says that all of this applies to everyone and we're all going in the same direction, then it's mundane. We're all the same. And not saying that we don't have anything in common, but the world makes it seem like there's only one way to a specific way to do things. You fit in a certain group of people because they were born in the same star sign. Whatever, that's not necessarily true. It's what you choose to do to make your. It's the words that you speak you choose to speak to make your life different, or to build the world or manifest the world that you want, period. And do people sometimes people have something to do with that? Yeah. A lot of times people have everything to do with it, because this is the world and there's people everywhere. Some people will elevate you, some people will when you're walking your road, some people along the way are gonna be the the ones that help you along, and maybe it's just 5 minutes, and maybe it's three days or 3 years for some. But 9 times out of 10, if you spoke it into existence in your life, it's your family, it's your manifestation for those that you love and care about and yourself, then
Hmm.
that's the walk you're walking. But the whole idea of heaven, or what they say heaven was, or what we were told heaven is, and all the rest of the stuff, and whether it's the truth or not, man, I can tell you a million things that I've gone through, or a million changes that I've made in my life that had nothing to do with the written text at all. Nothing to do with it. It had everything to do with how I chose to live myself spiritually. And sometimes that's the basis of it. And that's knowing who you are and knowing yourself. And I think that's the base. That's the crux of all of it. Know yourself, know who you are. Sometimes we get stuck, but the only person that can shake us from where we're at most of the time is ourselves. And sometimes a word from others here and there. But we're not all cookie cutters. We're not all cut out from the same cookie cutter. It's everyone's different.
Mr. Sigmundo, you have anything to add?
A few things actually, especially when it comes to the view from organized religion. Organized religion, for sake of a better box to put them in. The church is
Hmm.
supposed to be quote unquote the hospital where everybody's going to seek their semblance and their healing and their deliverance from whatever. So, ooh, I'm gonna get it for this one. Church, in the organized sense, is a big AA meeting. Okay, it's the catch-all, come-all for everything that's happened to you, everything that's gone wrong, everything that is what it is. So you get these steps,
What's
right?
up, Nick?
And so you're working these steps to somehow get your freedom and or deliverance from whatever it is your addiction is. And yes, oh my goodness, yes, toxic. You can be addicted to toxicity. You can be
Facts.
addicted to abuse. You can be addicted to all of these things. So instead of going to AA, which is primarily for narcotics and alcohol, you've got the church. So they've got the drunk, the drug addicted, the abused, the you name it. It's the catch all. So now you've got to come up with something that's going to appease all of these different ailments and all of these different people, right? Hence organized religion. Now you've got one. Woo, there's so many. There's so many.
Presbyterian, Orthodox,
And it's about what fits. It's the most comfortable way for you to get from point A to whatever you need healing from, right? If you, because Catholicism is not for everybody. Does it work for some? It does work for some. Some need that regimental. They need those rubrics. They need those things. They need to know somebody, the orders of service, when to stand up, when to kneel, when's the peace, all of that. Some people need that type of regimental things, i.e., students, whether they go to college or they go into the military. Everybody is not meant to go to college. Everybody doesn't learn that way, but they can end up with the same type of degree going through the military, right? Yep. Completely different learning styles, completely different lessons, completely different everything, but the end result is still the same. It's not, organized religion is not a means to an end. It's a means to healing. It was never meant for you to listen to homilies or sermons or something over a pulpit. That's not what the church was ever designed for, right? It turned into that because that's where everybody started going, right? But they turned it into something completely different based on the needs of the people. And then the needs of a person made the needs of the people their
stepping stool.
Yeah, their stepping stool for, I mean, and this is going to catch me too, but I get enough hate now. Not all pastors are Captain Save-A, okay? Save a drunk, save a addict, not all pastors are that, right? But they get marketed as such because, again, the church is a hospital. It's supposed to heal and help and get you to where you need to go and all of that. And it's great. It's a great place when used as it is supposed to be used, and not to indoctrinate, to do as I say, not as I do. Hearing comes from the word, but you ain't opened the book to study anything yourself. You're just going based on somebody's interpretation of what it is, and they're only using 3 verses out of 66 books that are in the King James Bible. There are more books available if you seek them out for yourself.
And even when you read the book,
I want to bring it back because we about to go on with the church. So let the church say amen. Goodbye.
And I'm just saying, even if you read the book, you're reading about it in somebody else's experiences, right? You're not reading about your own. You're reading about somebody else's experiences and what they went through and what they did and what happened to them. So it would behoove you to find your own experience. That's all I'm saying. You have your own experience. You have your own encounter, and there's plenty to have. I promise you.
Mr. Impossible. You have anything to add to that one?
I mean, heaven going to mean something different to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you probably got about 85 different religions. That's 8,500 different heavens. You know, when you count cultures and organizations that may describe a certain level of heaven, then you got that aspect of heaven. If you approaching it from an occult side, when you're dealing with alchemy, you know, your whole liberation of self is your heaven. So while people are looking for heaven right now, I live it right here on this earth, right here, right now. There's nothing outside of me that's not heaven. And if it is, I just get rid of it. It's just that simple. If it's a duality place, I don't got to take the low aspect of whatever that vibration is. I can vibe to a higher level if you're telling me I'm in a dualistic place. So heaven for me always going to be the higher vibration and highest frequency that I can live on. That's my heaven. It don't matter whatever somebody else believes. It don't matter what organization they're affiliated with. It doesn't matter what they watch on TV, what they don't, how they raise their family, how they don't. Don't matter to me because that's their heaven.
How you doing, Amanda?
It's their heaven.
Facts.
You know, somebody can have a good job with a wife and child, and that's heaven. They don't give a damn about nothing else. Then there's some people that's making $20 million a year, and they can never find their heaven. So, you know, what does heaven mean to you is different for each individual. I just happen to live heaven on earth. I didn't have to die in order to get to heaven. So at one time I had to wait until I receive my inheritance, and now I receive my inheritance and I live heaven on earth right here.
I'm glad you said that, because that was literally going to roll into my next topic. How to shift your reality and create heaven on earth.
It's a psychological change. You have to realize that our psyches have been programmed since children in dysfunctionality, in ignorance, and fear. So it's difficult to find a heaven when you're being manipulated, when you're being traumatized, when you're being misled, when you're being lied. It's difficult to find your heaven. So your psychological, your psyche, when that changed, everything else changed. That's how your reality changed. Most people find it difficult to change because their psyche, their mental structure doesn't change. They have good positive affirmations, yet their mental model stay the same. So they battle with the mental model and the thing that they're saying. So your mental shift is aligning what you're saying with actions, creating new habits, creating new outline in your life, new structures in your life, new staircase in your life. So you'll take one aspect of reality that you may have been living in ignorance and said, hey, this may be some part of life that I didn't know. Then you'll take your time and you'll begin to build a foundation upon the thing that you didn't know. Then you'll set another piece of foundation on top of that, and you build more on that. And then next thing you know, you have a foundation in the way of seeing the world or seeing yourself spiritually, psychologically, emotionally. You get to see all those things differently. It's all about revamping your own psyche. That's why in the myth, that's why they had rites of passage. That's why the rites of passage has been so important, because it changes your mental psyche. You couldn't stay the same.
Welcome in.
Welcome. You can no longer talk about what mama did back then when you was a little boy. You can't talk about the bad relationship you had a couple of years ago. All that shit go.
Yeah.
So that you have to change the whole psyche. The pioneer. You want to access that divine law, that divine love. Most people are afraid to live in divine law because they have all of these ideologies of how they think they want to live life by humanity's standards. And those are all low standards most of the time. That's why they have such a problem with change, because they like to live on a low standard.
Cool. That brings up a question for me, to you for that one. Do you think that some individuals who are living in have a low standard of life is because they're afraid of that failure? Because I mean, a lot of times people are afraid to even attempt something because they're ultimately afraid of failing. It's like they are, it's almost as if they're expecting to fail before they actually achieve that achievement. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you can create a habit, an idea, and a cycle of failure. And you believe that structure to be the very thing. So your very attempt wouldn't allow you to put forth your best effort, because in your mind you already failed. You already see the end as a failure. You never gave yourself 100% chance to actually be whatever it is that you said you was going to be. So yeah, you have a belief in that same fear, that fear of failing. There's a good book by Malcolm Gladwell called
You and them books,
like
Yeah.
Failing Forward. And again, it's a book. He used Christian standards, yet the understanding and the philosophy of what he's saying still stands true. Use what you failed with to move forward. That's how I built my staircase to where I'm at right now. My staircase of liberation becomes all of the failures that I've had.
Fail stands for first attempt in learning, right?
I don't know what it stands for. I just know I stand on that motherfucker.
That's a stepping stone. That's a stepping stone.
Yeah,
Mr.
I
and Mrs.
don't know.
Uno.
You know, don't get me the line out here. Get me all these acronyms. I don't know, but I know one thing. I've used that power to when I didn't achieve what I wanted to. I was able to go back, restructure what it is that I was taking a look at and attempt at, build some new foundation. Maybe I had to get rid of some people. Maybe I had to stop doing certain things. Maybe I had to create new habits. Maybe the habits that I had wouldn't allow me to even get to where I get to because my habits were too limited. So sometimes you got habits of limitation and you wonder why you can't get to the next level because your habits won't allow you to get to the next level because you got a habit of comfortability and conformity. There's no liberation in that.
True. Yeah. Hey, Mr. Impossible, I'm gonna have to pause real quick and have you speak about yourself.
Catch me on Thursday night. Talk that crap. Impossible. We here talking about metaphysics, higher learning, investing in yourself, creating value for your community within your family, doing it all for the liberation and evolution of mankind in a God essence. Talk that crap.
Respect. That's gonna be the last time I'm gonna have you do that because I'm gonna go ahead and just take that, cut it, and throw that in so that way, boom, I can just throw it in the middle when the time I do a little thing. So thank you for that. Perfect.
I'm in your world.
Hey, and we all ran across each other, and I thank you for it. Mr. and Mrs. Sigma Uno, I'm gonna roll into y'all on that question, the one that we were just talking about. How to shift reality and create heaven on earth. How I'm gonna let you speak. Go ahead.
We're created of everything that the world exists from. The reason why, the only way to effectively tap is to know that this is who you are. There's nothing beyond your reach at all. Period. But you have to know that in order to be able to begin the shift. It's like you need to know how to drive a car or a stick shift to know what's first, second, third, and fourth. You got to know how to do it. You have to understand it first. You got to understand yourself, and then you'll be able to tap into the next level or move at will to whatever dimension you want to when you're ready. What a person doesn't know, they just don't know. And it's easier to allow the person to live where they're at versus trying to force them to a place that they're not. And when that happens, that's when you get broken people, or you get people confused about where to go next because they are their authentic self when they don't know what they don't know, or they know what they know. It's the world that confuses them into believing that they're a failure. You're not. You're just at a specific place. You are where you are because that's what you know. And again, our genetic makeup and our spiritual makeup is the makeup of everything that exists. World, universe, all of it.
Yep.
You have to know that. You have to believe that in order to be able to tap into it. That's how you shift your reality.
Ultimately, you have to be tired of the reality that you're in. You got to be tired of being sick and tired and believe that there's something else out there so that you get off your butt and seek what it is. Because if you don't have an unction to even or a desire to know anything past what you're sitting in, and you're just comfortable in all of your angst and dysfunction and toxicity, then that's where you stay, right? But if you get tired of that and it gets you, you will get off your butt and find something else.
But you notice, it takes someone to tell you that you're toxic, right? If you can't see that yourself, then that's not toxicity. That's not toxicity. It's the person on looking saying that you're toxic. You see what I'm saying? So that person where they're at is that person where they are. We're the only one requiring change because of where we're at, or we believe somebody should be pulled up to a specific level, or they should be at a specific level.
Not necessarily.
I was just about to ask.
Yeah, not necessarily, because if You got to look at these people who keep getting into the same relationship over and over and over again and wondering why they're miserable.
They don't
Right?
know themselves.
If you are the common denominator in all of these things, it's you.
But if they
Right? So you have to do something different to get to have something different. You want to change the view, you are going to have to get yourself up and move.
Hold on.
But if you're complaining about it,
I'm doing a podcast right now, so I'm thinking on that.
but if you don't know it,
Black.
then you don't.
Them to kick me from the clan.
Cheese and bread. Hold on, Jay. Hold on, Jay. Go ahead, Mr. Sigma Uno.
No, I'm good. I'm done.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm glad that Mr. Sigma Uno actually brought that up because I was just about to ask on that. Like, okay, are you saying that the things that they're telling you, would you be saying that that's projections of them? Because I mean, I've noticed in this day and age, a lot of individuals now will sit there and put things upon you that they are doing themselves, or either whatever you have in you is upsetting what's in them. So now they're trying to say something about you, which is really a reflection of them. So it's like they need to get it out, and with them getting it out is pretty much trying to put it on you. I see you shaking your head, Mr. Sigmundo. What you saying?
But 9 times out of 10, go ahead.
See, if you see something in me that's upsetting to you, either because you don't have it, you're aspiring for it, or whatever that is, that means you need to get up and do what you need to do to get there.
I agree.
Okay? Everybody's going to have a hater, and the reason they hate you is because there's something in them or something in you that they aspired to have at some point or another. And you're living in it, walking in it, and they can't seem to attain it on the path that they're on. But they see you as an equal, when in essence, you're not equals. You're not equals. We're acquaintances. We're friends. You know what I'm saying? You can be a friend or a mentor to a 5-year-old. That doesn't make you equal, right? Just because we're both, well, we're not both 50, but if we were both 50, that doesn't necessarily make us equal just because we're both 50. We've had different life experiences. We've taken different journeys to get to where we are, right? That's why, one person has this bit of information, the next one has this bit of information, but when they connect, you can have a full picture, right? So you mesh the two together, you have a complete something, right? But don't hate me. If anything, ask questions. Just ask questions.
And I'm not saying that a person hating. I'm basically saying this: a person is that where they are is where they are.
Yes.
If they begin to complain about where they are, no one can cause a change but that particular person at all. Period. So, is it judging people by looking onto them and seeing that they're not in the place they should be? Is that judgment?
Who's to say they should be somewhere?
Exactly. So, if we're saying that they're toxic and they don't see it at all, period, it's going to take them to realize I'm toxic. I got to change the shit that I'm doing because it's not working for me. You see what I'm saying? We're looking in. Yes, we see that there's some work that needs to be done in their life. But what can I do about it?
I can't do anything about it.
If you ask me a question, and you want me to answer honestly, I'm going to tell you how I feel honestly. But to control your life or to cause past judgment and say you should be somewhere that you shouldn't be, that's dead wrong of me. And I need to wait for you to get to the point where it's time for you to evolve, because I can't cause your evolution. Only you can cause your evolution.
Correct.
We all are living in different realities. You cannot force somebody to be something. My mom said it the best. You cannot want something for somebody more than they want it for themselves.
Exactly. 100%. I agree. 100%. When that happens, you care more about that person than they care about themselves.
Exactly. So me personally, I realize I'm like, if I recognize someone that's toxic, I'm going to remove myself. Because if that's not something I want in my life, I'm removing myself. If I'm not going to tell him why I removed myself, because what's the point on me wasting my breath to tell you when you don't give a fudge, or now I become an enemy of you because I told you about yourself. Been through that, done that, learned the lesson, pop smoke. So with that, if you decide to inquire and wonder why, I will let you know, because that's letting me know that you're trying to understand what happened in the situation, which means that you are open to possible change. But other than that,
wait for them to ask the question, why?
And
when they ask why,
I agree.
when they ask
I'm in
why,
total agreement.
right?
That conversation gonna let you know.
That's it.
Conversation will let you know whether that individual is really looking for that
That's
change.
it.
Yes.
That's it.
Not
I
just
mean, like,
conversation, but their action.
Mhm.
It
starts with
I can
conversation.
I'm able to have a conversation with someone,
Mhm.
and in that conversation, by the time I leave, I'm gonna really know where you are spiritually, if you're really dedicated to that evolution, that light within yourself, or is it something that you're doing just to kind of get on through and kind of fit in with everybody else? Some people
That's it.
do this for a lifestyle. Some people do it for a fad. Some people do this to fit in.
That's it.
Well, this is a lifestyle. This is a culture. This is how I live. This is a day to day. This is not something that I pretend to be. This is not something I do sometimes. It's not something that I talk about sometimes, and other times I want to talk about some other shit. This is it. Either you can vibe with this shit or don't.
That's it.
This ain't for you. Okay, I'm cool. I ain't pressing you to be nothing but the God or goddess within you. Like, I mean, that's what. You don't want to be the greatest version of the God or goddess within you, and you don't care about that. Well, okay. Shit, I can't be mad at you on that.
You're not at your point of evolution. When you get there,
That's
you'll
it.
be there.
And then I go on to talk to the next person and said, "Hey, man, I love what y'all was saying, man. Can I talk to you one-on-one? You know,
right?
Email me at impossible EMPOWSIBLE VCD@gmail.com and get you some spiritual counseling. You know, that's what we need today, some spiritual counseling. That's what I'm good at. Come over and get yourself some spiritual counsel. Get an understanding and better understanding of who you are, and start to make decisions in your life, and start being faced with so many choices you don't even know what to do. Learn how to make a decision.
What's that email? One more time.
ENPOSSIBLE VCD@gmail.com.
All
Spiritual
right.
counsel.
Boom.
Set up your appointment. Get you some. Change your life. Change your life. Just make a decision. You've been faced with so many choices. Make a decision. They don't even know what to eat today. You ask somebody what they want to eat today, they start telling you all the damn different foods.
Make a decision. Make a decision.
You ask somebody, what you want to eat? Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
You already know. I ain't gonna say it, but you know there's gonna be
okay. So that's what I'll be talking about. We got so many choices. Come on, let me show you how to make a decision.
That's it. That's it. And listening is the greatest tool you can. If you're trying to help people, listen.
Yes.
Don't do nothing else. Listen. Because when you listen, you're hearing about them. You're not hearing about yourself. You're not going on about yourself, because you're going about yourself too much, and you're off on a limb that ain't theirs. It's yours.
Mm-hmm.
You got to. You got to hear them. And then if you can't help them, you can.
Yep.
You can't. You can't.
Everybody
can't help nobody you can't hear.
That's it. Sometimes they just want you to walk with them. Walk with me. Watch me trip and fall.
Hey, Mr. Impossible, look what the fudge you started.
What happened?
She said, I feel personally attacked.
See? It's hereditary.
I told you. I was like, no, shut up. I told you. I was like, why feel attacked? But anyway, moving on.
Hey, little people.
Why you gotta call her? Deal with that. Why you call her little? All right. Anyway, I can't with you right now. No, seriously. When it comes down to heaven, when it comes down to living a life that you are in control of, I feel that the biggest thing is believing in yourself. Because there's a lot of individuals these days who don't believe in themselves. So therefore, even if they are trying to manifest anything, if they're not believing in themselves, they're not really even believing in the power that they can put out into the world. So therefore, the manifestations that they are trying to manifest is not even going to be, it's not even heard. Let me put it like that.
Listen, I'm gonna say this is as simple as I can get it. If you're listening and you're at a crossroads in your life, and you're trying to figure out what to do and where to go next, you got to go inward. You got to stop listening to everybody else around you. You got to start answering the questions that you already know the answers to, and not because you want to hear somebody tell you something to make you feel good about yourself. Beat yourself down if it means picking yourself up off the ground, because nobody else knows how to do that but you. You're the only one that can do that. And there's people around that'll help you get up. But initially, when you fall, we don't know if you broke your leg, your arm, if your neck is busted. Only you know that, so you can only you can communicate that to people. But if you love yourself enough, look at yourself and be honest with who you are. Be honest with where you're at. And that's when, look, the help will come out of everywhere when that happens, because you actually want to change. You actually want something better for yourself. And you're tired of being drugged down, or tired of
being sick and tired.
But you're tired of making excuses for being in a place that you don't want to be. And I get it. The world beat you to the freaking earth. It beats you down, and you don't measure up in so many different places. But you measure up with yourself. You measure up for yourself. Don't worry about everybody else. You
take that self-inventory.
Oh, here we go.
Don't matter everybody else but you.
Treat yourself like a business.
Right. Remember, this is just the better. And yeah, and the same way with the business. If you don't run it, if you're not running it and you expect everybody else to run it, they don't know the vision, that shit's going to run to the ground. Same thing.
Hello.
Same exact thing.
Hello.
Even if they have a vision, but what if they don't have the tools necessary?
Okay,
that's where you got to start. Look, baby steps. Baby steps.
Take that inventory.
Baby steps.
Where am I trying to get to? What don't I have?
That's it.
I need to surround myself with people that can get me to where I'm trying to go, because they have the tools. They use the tools that I need to get to where they're at. That's where you have to physically, consciously make that change, inwardly, outwardly. If it takes you doing that self-inventory, what do they call it? Dream board. If it takes you putting together a dream board and then having somebody to come in and say, okay, this is what I want. This is how I want my life to be. Where do I start? Okay, because most of the time, the first thing on those boards are these huge houses, these boats, the vacations, all these big, wonderful things. But you work at McDonald's.
That's okay.
That means something's got to change. You want to do these things, something's got to change. So what do I need to make annually to make this change? Right? What kind of job? What do I have in me that can manifest that? Right? You like to draw as a kid, still draw cartoons, you like architecture, whatever that like. Go to school, become an architect. That's going to get you on them vacations. It's going to get you on those things, because they make the money that's going to make those kind of things happen. You got to find out what's really in you that's an asset to get you to where you're trying to go.
Yes.
And sometimes it's as simple as crying. Look, I respect women and children because they don't look for a specific place to cry. They just do it when it's time. Sometimes you need to do that for yourself, because it not only makes you feel better, but it brings you back to a place where it's like, okay, I've cried and I got it out. What do I do next? You never know. It's a person standing next to you or behind you, or when you walk out the door, somebody could be there to ask that question to. But you have to start somewhere. And again, that inward is so important, because again, nobody knows you better than you know yourself. You can lie to yourself, you can lie to other people about who you are, but you can't lie to yourself about who you are. If you don't they used to say, look, if you don't be honest with nobody else, be honest with yourself. When you begin to lie to yourself about who you are, then you've lost yourself. You got to find a way back. Look, it's,
you know what?
Okay.
I'm gonna have to talk about that probably next week. When you lie to yourself, your true self will be battling that. It will actually put you on the spot. And with that, you know, a lot of things will start going wrong in your life because of the fact that you're not following the path you're supposed to be on.
Exactly.
I see you shaking your head. What's you shaking your head for?
Nah.
What you got to say?
People lie to themselves every fucking day.
Mm-hmm.
And some people make that done made their lives a habit. And that's what they functioning every single day.
In a habit
so
of life.
No, it don't matter how much you want to come out of it. If you lying to yourself every day, okay, and I say it like this: if someone is eating unhealthy every single day,
Yes.
then tell me they eat a salad, who lying to who?
You lied to yourself. You lied to
I
people
don't know
around
why
you.
I challenge you.
I just made a sandwich for this.
Okay,
With some chicken and
where your
bacon.
challenge? Where your challenge
That's
lies?
$1,000 dress.
So if
Yeah.
somebody is lying to themselves on a day-to-day basis, when they
Uh-huh.
know in themselves that is not who they are, but they're forcing themselves to be something
But
that
they believe it. They believe
not
it.
necessarily.
They
Not
believe
everybody believes it. Not everybody believes it because there's a
Yeah.
conflict. There's a conflict of character.
Where?
There's a conflict
No,
of
there's
character.
That's their
there's a
character.
thin line. Look, there's a thin line.
Listen to what I'm
There's a
saying.
thin
You ready?
line.
Listen,
There's a thin line
listen.
between
I'm not gonna lie.
manifestation.
I'm not gonna lie. I have been there in the past. I've been there in the
Right.
past. Now check it. I can speak from experience. When you know that you are not something and you are trying to do something, who you are authentically is going to battle what it is that you are doing, what you are trying to perceive yourself as. With that, that's why you feel guilty when you do certain things.
I mean, let me say this. I'll say this. There's a thin line
If you
between
are an individual with
manifestation.
a conscience, you will sit there and battle yourself. So when you are about to do something and then all of a sudden you're like, I probably shouldn't do it. That's because you, who you truly are, is telling you that's not the right freaking thing to do.
Because they know that when you do that, it's going to damage you. Look, there's a thin line between lying to yourself and manifestation. And the reason why there's a thin line is because it's the belief that you can do it, and the belief that you have the power to do all things. It's the belief. Once you toggle from that belief to I think I can, now you're fighting yourself.
You know,
Yeah. Now you just fell on a razor thin line, and now you have to balance yourself back up again. So I get it. When you talk about harming yourself, I get what you're saying. But as far as I am and it can be all things, you that's the truth. You can be all things. You can do whatever you want to do. I can do all things. You can. You have that power, that ability.
Now,
otherwise, you can't step out of nothing if you don't believe that.
Now, if you're telling yourself, if you're sitting there in the morning, you write affirmations on the mirror, and you're like, I am, I can, but yet inside of you, you're telling yourself, like, you're like, man, you're doubting it. So now, how impossible to say, who's lying to who? That right there is that other side where you're not believing in yourself.
No, but see, look, me and Mr. Impossible was talking earlier today.
See,
and sometimes in order to come out of something or come out of a rut or a place that you ain't supposed to be or that you need to rise yourself from, maybe you need to hear something over and over again and believe it. Now, when we talk about when it comes to affirmations, not all affirmations are the same for all people. Affirmations for me is I have. You see what I'm saying? For some, it's I am. Some is I have. Some is I can. But at the end of the day, it's what belongs to you and what you believe is belongs to you. Again, we didn't come here with nothing. And we didn't come here disabled. We didn't. So the idea that we have the ability to do all things is feasible.
It is feasible.
Again, the idea that I have, I am, and I can, and I will. It's saying that you believe in yourself. You have the faith and believe in yourself. You have the faith and believe that you can do all things. If you stop doing that and you subject yourself to yourself where you're at, and if it's not a good place, then you just stepped on yourself. You just destroyed yourself because you can't disseminate between. Am I lying to myself when I say that I can? No, you're not lying to yourself when you say you can. You're not lying to yourself when you say you have. Not lying to yourself when you say that I am. That is completely true. Where are you? This is the question. Where are you? Are you in a place that is the thing that you need to say right now? Who are you? That's the bigger question. Who are you? And when you get to who I am, this is who I am. Okay, yeah, this is who I am. And I can. I will. I have. Then you can. But if you don't know yourself, that's just it's a battle, it's a train wreck, and it's walking this thin line, be like, I am going to manifest something but I'm not sure if I believe in myself or not. You keep backing down the line. That's like power surge. The power comes on full and it's beautiful and it's bright, and before you know it, but I don't think I can. The power just went off and you blew a fuse. You got to keep.
Yep.
You're going back and forth. And again, I say it's a thin line because the things that you want to do. Okay, if
Yes.
you can't draw a lick and you draw on stick figures, I get it. I can't draw to save my life, but I have two brothers that are artists. If I
Oh,
want to lean on them to do something, then I'm gonna let them do the art piece, and and I'm gonna do what I do best. I'm a business person.
yo,
You
I
see what
just,
I'm
I
saying?
just, I just had a moment when you said I can't draw a lick. I was like, bro, I was like, how you not playing that? You have to play it. And I was like, oh wait, hold on. I was like, draw a lick, like I can't
Oh
draw at
no, but
all.
that's a different type. That's a different type of art. That's an art in my head. That's a blueprint to my business and the legacy for the rest of my life. That's a
Mm.
different type of blueprint. You see what I'm saying? But as far as picture art and sculptures and all the rest of the stuff, that's my brothers. That's not me. When they come to me and want to do business, they know I'm gonna come to Walter, and this time I'm gonna be serious, and we about to do business because I know that's the type of dude he is. When my sisters call me and be like, I want to start a business, they're calling the right person because that's what I do. You see what I'm saying? When you present yourself as that and you believe in yourself that much, there's subjects that we talk on so well, and you won't miss a beat because that's exactly who you are. You see what I'm saying? If you're tripping over yourself and fumbling, sometimes I pause because I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, but
Yeah.
sometimes the feelings need to be hurt. And you need to tell them exactly what it is, and that's impossible. Impossible to give a goddamn. I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is. You take this shit and you leave it. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. I spare your feelings just a little bit, but there are subjects in the world that I know about that you'll hear me talk about, it and I won't miss a beat because that's who I am. That's who
Mhm.
I was raised to be, and that's who I made myself be. See what I'm saying? But if we stay in the muck and mire that we were left in, or we fell in, or that we were stuck in because we were children, we didn't know any better, and when you stay there, you won't ever see anything other than that. And
That's it.
sometimes that's what happens to people. But we are strong enough. We're strong enough to understand that looking down at a person like, wait a minute, I see you. I see your light. I see you. I see you. Stand up a little bit. Okay. Just walk. I'll walk with you just a little bit. Okay, that's fine. I understand why you're doing that. That's why us helping each other is important.
No,
To
no,
get to
no,
a place
no.
with someone, there's a place that you talk to someone at. There's a place that you talk to someone at that they need to be at that specific level.
Yes.
When you pull them from an infant to a toddler, then you can say, no, stop that. I said no. You heard what I said the first time because you begin to help them get to that place. Then we get to the level that they 10, 12, 13 years old. You got your own mind. You go ahead and do what you want to do. But you'll be back because you remember I'm here to help you. You see what I'm saying? But they have to get to that point. But if they're laying on the ground, we need to help them up. That's what we're here to do.
Facts.
See? And I
Belief is
can do
also taught.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And
Belief is taught.
it's not even a matter of disbelief. Okay. If you have got that as one of your affirmations, I can do all things, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, and that's what you're going with, then guess what's going to happen? You are going to be undergirded by everybody who can do
That
all the
can
things
do
that
all
you
things.
need
There
to
you go.
fulfill everything that you're trying to have.
That's it.
I want to have, or I can do all things, I can have all things, I can be all
Mhm.
things. Why? Because guess what? I can change oil in a car, but do I want to change oil in a car?
No.
No. God bless me.
So,
The Lord
thank you for the
provided
share.
a
I
way of
appreciate it.
escape for me. And guess what?
I have to do it. I can, but I don't want it.
And if he doesn't, guess what? The Lord provided me with the 1995 Jiffy Lube coupon that
Hey,
come in the mail.
excuse me. Hey, this is Sigma Uno. Real quick, I got a question I need to ask. Put a pin in it real quick. Hey, everybody, are y'all okay if I extend this a little bit because Priestess Sigmani wants to jump?
Oh yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Impossible. Are you okay with that?
Sure.
Mrs.
I got
Sigma
a
Uno,
little
you
more
okay with
time.
that?
I'm good.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I'll let her know because she just messaged me. She was like, "Hey, can you extend it?" She was like, "I'm almost at the house." I'm like, "All right, cool." I'm like, "Let me ask you real quick." All right, cool. Mrs. Sigma Uno.
So yeah, I can do all things. Can I put together a logo and do all that. No, but I know somebody that I provided with
I got
all the
you. I
tools
got you.
that
Who
I
needs a
need
logo? I
to
got
get
you.
to where I'm trying to go. So I mean, I know a man, I know a woman, I know somebody who can do that.
That's it. That's why it's important to be open to meet people where they're at, and not everybody gonna be on the same level. But and then if they need to get there, help them get there. And if you push hard enough to where you didn't taught them and they still ain't getting it, you got to give them some space because they already know how to do it. You already told them what to do to get up there. And the weirdest thing, not the weirdest thing, but the most important thing I learned when helping people, as far as older people, when they fall, they said, look, you don't grab a person and pick them up. You put a chair in front of them. You know why that's important? Because you'll completely destroy yourself trying to pick that whole person up off the ground. You got to let them shift their own weight. You got to let them get to their knees, grab the chair, and stand up on their own. Otherwise, both of y'all will be on the floor. You see what I'm saying? But it's meeting them where they're at, understanding where they are, and meeting them where they're at. And a lot. Look, I believe that all the young people that I've served. Yeah, I'm not the first person to speak into their life, and probably won't be the last, but they'll remember. That's what we want them to do. We want them to remember. Remember, I told you this. You ain't gonna remember right now because you're going through a lot of shit. But when you get through that, and you look down the road, and you continue to build yourself. You continue to build yourself. Then, like we talked about earlier, this whole heaven piece, it only feels like hell when you don't have what you need. It only feels like hell because you're down here and you don't have no friends. People don't understand you. You're yelling and screaming. People are like, don't scream. And some people can't take it and they walk away. That doesn't mean that you're living in hell. That just means it takes one person to help you get up to get to the point that you are beginning to understand how to live a heaven. That's the important piece. We're all here to help each other get to that place. And it don't have to be pie in the sky. You don't have to die for it to happen. You don't. Because that was my thing. I tell you, I was talking to some church folks like, why do I got to die for this to happen? Look, wait a second. I got to die to have something? It makes no sense. Why can't I just have it right now? But you can, again. But we're here to help each other get there, right?
And that's something I love the fact that you said that, because a lot of people think that in order to attain something, like for example, how everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. They think that we need to physically die to actually attain these types of things. They're not thinking about the habits that you have created throughout life. They're not thinking about the mindset that you have created. They're not thinking about those types of things. When you just like how a snake sheds its skin, it becomes new, right?
Right.
So it allows itself to grow stronger. It allows itself to be able to grow bigger, do different things, because now it got rid of that all that old weight that was holding it down, that was kind of keeping it restricted. Same with us. We need to change our mindset. We need to change the way that we look at things. What you laughing about, Miss? You know I ain't even messing with you.
Because I'm gonna just turn around and say, lay aside every weight which does easily.
Okay.
Then
hold on, did you just have a scripture? Say that again. Say that again one time for me.
She got a scripture for everything.
Lay aside every weight. Okay. What did you say before that? There was scripture for that too. Look.
She's like, hold on. Give me 1 second. But no, I mean, literally, what I am saying is the fact that people think that you need to actually go ahead and lay down 6 feet down, 6 feet under. When really, what it comes down to is changing your mindset. Mr. Impossible said it the best earlier. He said it the best earlier. What did you say? You said the ideology. Do you remember?
What I said earlier about the ideology?
Yeah, he said ideology, the psychology about the way that people think of things.
Once you get into a level of spiritual alchemy, you be reborn. You start to use elements. You'll understand symbols. You will understand the old science of how the psyche really moves, how it's activated, the faculties. You can use will as a faculty in life, which is, again, correlated to the pineal gland. So you send forth those forces that's in your benefit and enhances your life. You lay aside these old ideologies and beliefs that someone taught you to limit you in a certain aspect of life. You begin to do something greater in life. You have to be more. It's up to the individual of what they do. The ideology, what I was speaking about is when you're doing the same thing and you're saying I want to change, and you have the same habits, the same ideology, and you wonder why things ain't happening for you. That's where that new shift, that new paradigm shift where they talked about, that's when it happens for you. You have to shift the paradigm. You got to shift something. Something has to change.
Right.
So,
and I've noticed that when you start speaking about the change that you need, and you say it enough times.
And I want to say one thing real quick. It's very minimal. I love when we reach that hour mark in the podcast and we end up going straight into discussion because we be having some nice conversations. So with that, let's continue. I am taking the banner off. Let us go. Free talk.
Right. But it's I learned that when you say change, like sometimes it takes a damn near natural disaster or something to put you all the way on your back for you to realize there's some shit I got to change. I got to start doing some shit. And when that happens, sometimes it works immediately. You get up and you just start doing that. You're making that change. But then again, it depends on your surroundings. Where are you at? Are you around some people that's going to keep feeding your negativity? If that's the case, that means the biggest change you need to make is away from those people that are allowing you to crutch. You need somebody to push you off the bed and be like, get your ass up and walk. I know you can. I seen you sit on the edge of the bed, step down a little bit. Yeah, you may fall, but as long as we know you're able to get up, you're going to be okay. But if you got people crutching on you, oh no, just lay right there, no problem. No, I'll bring this close to your bed so you can know. When I tell you, I had an episode in the hospital to where I couldn't walk. I had to literally, I couldn't feel my feet under me. My whole body felt like it was going to give way. And people were like, we're going to send somebody in to help you walk, try to walk again. And I tell you, it wasn't the idea that they said they were going to send anybody in. I was trying to make myself walk before they came. You see what I'm saying? So it was me sitting on the edge of the bed. If I had to hold on to some bars to prop myself up, to see if I could stand straight up, then I had to do that. I didn't wait for anybody because the thing I feared the most is not being able to walk. You see what I'm saying? Or to lose my ability to walk, period. So it's like it has to be in your head first. Then when those people come, oh, we see you've been trying. Yeah, this is what we're going to do to help. We got some more tools for you so you can get there.
Yes.
When I realized and I learned this, that I can talk to my organs and tell them to heal. And if I believe it, it's going to happen. Or there's a certain cycle that you get new organs anyway, or you get a new heart anyway. I was like, oh shit, this can happen. Okay, I'm with that. Let's do that. Let's excel on that. So let's make it happen. So if a new moon's coming, and in that new moon, I'm able to get this, that, or the other, I'm waiting for it.
Hit the like button. Share the live as well. You never know who may need to hear this, so go ahead and share it, because the only way that you'll get it to those who need to hear it is if you were to share it.
Well, there's a book, and I did not read this for myself. I was in Dr. Solomon's store, and he was saying, look, I was telling him about issues I was having, respiratory wise or whatever, congestive heart failure, whatever. He was like, but you can get a new heart. And I was like, what? I can get a new heart? He said, yeah, it says. And he opened up his book.
Like he was at the Wiz.
Yeah. He opened up the book and was like, yeah, you can. But it depends on the cycle. Come back and talk to me. You think I stopped and didn't come back to talk to him, or didn't call him and be like, look, bro, I seen you had a book in your hand. It said that I can get a new heart. Tell me when, and what I have to do to make sure it happens. And it's those things. It's those type of things. When I get the full formula, or to be able to remember the full formula, the next podcast that you have, I will divulge that information. Or maybe Impossible knows better than I do, but I know that I can speak to my body and say, hey, heal. I'm tired of it feeling this way.
And that sounds like another topic right there. That sounds like something we possibly discuss. I need to research that myself because I don't want to come in blind.
But as far as being able to speak to yourself, to speak healing to it, existence for yourself, you can do that, and that's the basis of it. Like just like manifestation, anything that you say you can or will do, or you
Yeah.
speak and you want it to happen, it will because you said it. That's the power that you have to speak. And it says what? There's a verse for that too, right? Speak those things that aren't as if they were. You see what I'm saying? That's why I said there's a thin line between lying to yourself
What's up, Jay? How you
and
doing?
having faith and belief in what you actually are able to do. Because
Right.
speak those things that aren't as if they were. You see what I'm saying? But yeah,
But
those
faith without works
is dead. So if you ain't getting up, you should start with heel, legs, heel, heel. And I'm just laying there.
What's up,
No.
bro?
So your mental.
Exactly where your bed starts
Yeah,
and after you're gonna kick in. And you're gonna have you're not gonna have no legs. But it's just
You say you ain't
it's
gonna have no legs.
oh,
Oh,
you
oh,
won't. At
oh.
one point they're gonna cut him off. And look, I've seen it happen again. At the end of the day, it's all the whole
Yes,
faith.
we hear
and
you.
belief.
Okay,
Hey,
cool. Hey, y'all.
how you doing?
Blessings.
Welcome to the discussion, Priestess Imani, the bone lady.
That bound lady.
In the
So
building. In the building.
in the building. So today's topic, in case you want to speak on it, we were talking about how everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. In that one, we were not talking about a religious sense. We were talking about how literally your mind creates the heaven on earth. You change your reality. But I mean, right now we are in the discussion phase. We have an open discussion, so I mean, you can talk about that if you want to, or you can jump in on.
What things can't I say on here?
You can say whatever you want.
I
In
can
all
say whatever I
honesty,
want on here.
look, I'm a rebel. I am a rebel. I told you last time I'm a rebel. I don't care. I'm not on here to get monetized. I'm on here to speak the truth.
Yeah,
All right.
you know, it sounds like repeat the phrase again.
It's right there at the bottom. Everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. We were talking about how literally the death of your mind, the way that you change, though you change, you kill the bad habits and the things, as Mr. Impossible said, the ideology and psychology that you have. So therefore, that's how we end up going into how to shift your reality and create a heaven on earth.
Right.
And also pulled into the power of believing in yourself. So those were the three topic points that we had hit tonight.
You know, I like that because recently I've been talking about, I've kind of been channeling messages around manifestation. Everybody's talking about manifesting something.
Uh-huh.
And manifestation it feels like it's, in some ways, it can be some kind of runoff from religion because it comes with this idea that you can just pull something out your ass. It's not about work. It's not about sacrifice. It's not about laying down the bricks. It's just, I can just speak it. I can just think it. And there it goes. And I think it's lazy. I think that is to the point where it's becoming lazy. And I think that personally, I have more respect for people that can actually do the work and lay down the bricks with their hands than just pull something out their behind. And a lot of times people who do manifest things and to the degree of just speaking it or thinking it into being, they don't have as much respect for it as if they died for it. They got to heaven without dying. So when I think of dying, I think of sacrifice and work. You know,
cheese and bread.
Cheese and bread.
She said,
I also think about
you gotta want to die for it.
You don't want to die for it. You know, I also think about sex.
Yeah. Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, hold on. What you drinking? What's that, Merlot? What's that?
Red wine, baby. Yes. I don't even know which one it is. I just poured it up.
Right.
Blessing sits on that red wine. Yeah.
You know, it's the red light special tonight.
Okay.
So, it reminds me of sex because, you know, you was talking about creating heaven, you know, but, you know, a woman is heaven. And I think that a lot of times...
oh, shit!
I think a lot of times these days our counterparts don't want to sacrifice to get to heaven. And a lot of times they just play at her gates. And what they do is they end up meeting so many different women because they never been to heaven. They just stay at the gate. They don't allow themselves to have the full experience. They don't allow themselves to die. They want to hold on to their ego. They don't want to surrender to heaven, to the goddess, to her infinite power.
I'm going to hell. No, because right there, I was like, look, you just gave like all the like previous pimps a freaking like a line. You just gave them a line. Like, look, if a woman is, I'm willing to
ladies
die,
are pimps
I'm
too.
willing to work to make sure that I get to go to road. So, anyway, continue.
First pimps.
You know, they walk around
The first one,
Back in
you know, they're walking around taste testing. But I also have to say that a woman is just not heaven. If you look at times of the past where women were really revered and the goddess was really revered, we are also the portal of hell. Mm-hmm. And I think that a lot of times now this is what men are talking about when it comes to particularly women of color and Black women and some of the ways that we show up, the toxic, you know, the masculine traits and all this other stuff. It's because we are that as well. But have you given yourself the chance to enter into heaven? Because a lot of times when you're wanting to enter into heaven or ascend or go to a higher state, there's a lot of ego that has to be sacrificed in that process.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
And if you're encountering a woman who is of duality, the heaven, the hell, the feminine, and the masculine, and you're saying that you want to experience the feminine nature of herself, then what are you sacrificing? What are you giving? Because you can't have both.
Wow, Jesus.
No.
I'm thankful that you jumped on here tonight.
Don't come to the ocean and just want to play on the beach. Don't come knee deep.
Shawty Wilson said the wrong one will make you feel like you in hell. She's talking about women.
No. The right one will. The right one as well. Yeah, you got the right one today. You got the right one when she makes you feel like you in hell.
Oh, so you got the right one? So what is that?
The right one. When you trying to do something, when you're trying to play a certain way.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, you know, players get to play and there's no consequence. And so they end up getting to the right one.
Where there's consequences.
Yeah, and then there's a consequence.
Yeah.
Because now you have because an insult to a priestess, an insult to a woman, particularly like me, all women are not equal. I know y'all say all men are created equal. All women ain't created equal. But a woman,
all men ain't created equal.
Okay, the sisters that are gathered here today, women like us. Okay, an insult to me is an insult to all the women who came before me.
Woo!
Because I am heaven. They ascended in me. And the ones that did not ascend, I am their hell as well. And I can open those gates. I can open those gates too. You choose.
You scary as fuck. Anyway.
Happy Halloween. Happy Day of the Dead.
That ain't scary.
Nah, like you talking a lie. For somebody who like in all honesty, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not where y'all are. I'm still riding the line. I'm understanding a lot of it. I still have listen to what I'm saying real quick. Before you slap the taste out of my mouth, listen to what I'm saying. Shit. Impossible. I saw you. I saw your nose twitch. You was about to go ahead and yeah. Okay, anyway. I'm like, look, I understand where y'all are, and I'm moving away from where I was. I'm still, I wouldn't say I'm in transition. I'm every day I'm constantly learning. And with that, so what she just said, she knows. She knows. She knows. I'm just gonna leave it at that. So listening to that is, and the way that my mind would go sometimes, I'm just like, that can be scary because of the fact that I understand all women are not equal. All women are not made the same. And with that, if you get the right one, the hell that they bring can actually really be heaven. But the fact that you refuse to change who you are is what's making it hell. Does that make So that's why
What?
it's like that is scary. It's scary to know that you can be sitting here dealing with the woman of your dreams who is going to elevate you to a purpose of where you're supposed to be. But because of the fact that you refuse to change who you are creating a hell for yourself and trying to blame it
give
on.
birth to what you plant inside of me.
That's why I said it is scary. So please don't slap me impossible.
It ain't scary when y'all making
No.
babies. When you're creating
Listen.
whole life. Is it scary then? When y'all shooting up the club?
I mean, in all honesty, that is
It's
experience.
fun when
That's
that shit
a
at the club.
understand that men love to work out. We need to get our sweat on. So yes,
Listen,
at the moment,
all she-
shoot up the club is an adrenaline rush and definitely afterwards you have to think about it. We act first and then think later. We're like, damn, I shouldn't have did that shit.
You wasn't fighting and you wasn't fighting.
What did Richard Pryor say? It seemed like a good idea at the moment. It seemed like a good idea at the time. Bill Clinton, because
I
he
promise
gave
you.
All right,
I promise you. I was raised by women. There is no second chances. They tell you the first time. They probably tap you the second time, but the third time, you know the hatchet is coming. And it's in such a way that you remember it.
I feel like she's slightly got the hatchet ready to drop it on your ass right now in case you say the wrong.
No, look again. This is where. Listen, I'm telling you, I'm not saying this to be demeaning, but you have to listen to the people that have lived the life, bro. You really, when it comes to women, you cannot fuck around. You can't. And the reason why you can't is because that's the rest of your life. And I'm not talking about you walking away and that's it. No. There is something that's going to lay on your life for the rest of your life because of the wrong that you've done to that. So anything you do after that, that's not going to be prosperous at all. Period. You're not going to prosper.
What you saying? Until you do right by me.
Look,
everything you
everything you do.
Not even everything you do. Everything you think of.
Think you do. That's it. Everything you do. Everything you think is done. It's done. And that's why when you, again, I can only speak for myself because I was raised around all my grand aunts and my aunts. They were all women. I learned the lesson. I learned by watching. I learned by the mistakes that other niggas made, and I was like, no, so that's what happens when. Okay, and it's not just the physical shit. My grandmother, it's not just the physical stuff. My grandmother went to, when I tell you she went to do some roots, and the people felt it. This is what I'm learning later on down the line, but this is the life that they lived. Those women did not play around. They didn't fuck around. And they told you something. If you didn't believe it, you found out. And I'm not just speaking from a physical perspective. I'm speaking from a spiritual perspective. Because when all else fails and they've done to you physically and you don't respond, that other hand is coming. It's coming. And it may not come right away. You may not see it right away. You're walking around thinking your life is well, but the hatchet is coming, bro. And I'm telling you, that's why I'm telling you. Listen.
Listen. So far in yourself, thinking you're getting away with whatever you think you're getting away with. You don't even know you could sever it. That has got to be the worst.
That is the worst.
Oh my
That's the
God.
worst. And then to realize later on, that was a good woman. I fucked up. The hell that I'm living now is because I fucked over her. Yeah, and that's just again, that's the tip of the iceberg. Tip of the iceberg.
Here's the thing with that. A person like that would rather die in all the wrong ways, rather sacrifice and take a chance in all of the wrong ways to create a hell, when you could have took that same effort and put it towards creating your heaven.
Hello.
Well, say that one more time. That right there has got to get clipped. Say that again.
Look, I'm flowing. I'm over here sipping my
I understand you flowing, but I'm like, I didn't grasp it the first time. I need you to run that back real quick.
All right, put people in the back. Look.
Thank you. Because I'm in the back biting the window right now.
The person that is creating hell with a counterpart, with a woman, they're putting effort towards creating that hell when they could be taking that same effort and putting it towards creating their heaven. They're dying to go to hell, sacrificing to go to hell, rather than dying and sacrificing to go to heaven.
Right.
What a waste.
And this phrase, this particular phrase, I believe, applied to women that were goddesses when it says, "You would rather be in the sea with a millstone about your neck than to deal with an angry God about their children."
All right, Biblios, come on.
Well,
Well,
as soon as
look,
we get back to
you know what a millstone is? Let's talk about a millstone. A millstone is a big ass piece of rock with a small hole in the middle. You're not coming up, and to drown is not a simple thing. Your lungs got to fill up with water. Your body's jerking because it's over. It's not an easy death, but that's the equation. Look, if you fuck with my kids, you fuck with me, you would rather be in the millstone with a. I mean, you'd rather than see with a millstone about your neck because I'm gonna do something a lot worse than that. You see what I'm saying? But that's again, I can't say it enough.
Mess around and find out.
Exactly.
Fuck around and find out. And you know what? I'm so glad you said that, Sigma, because death is something that we all have to see one day.
That's it.
Death is that one thing. You can deny God, you can deny devils, angels, etc. You cannot deny death.
It's coming.
That is something that we all have to go through one day, but we don't want to have to go through having a meal on our neck in the damn ocean. So you don't know how it's going to come. So since death is inevitable, it's a part of life, why don't you control that level of sacrifice and transition in the ways that you can?
That's it.
Why not go to the gym and work out?
That's it.
Why not change your diet? If transition is a part of life, it's something that we all have to go through. Why don't you take that energy and control it in the most positive ways for yourself? That's manifestation.
It makes sense.
So you can rest in peace and not
Rest
die
in peace because you did the work. You out here trying to ride on the sweat and tears of your ancestors. As if they ain't did enough for free. Now they supposed to pay for ticket to heaven.
And you don't know how that happened. So if that's the case, you better get a clue. You better find out.
Talking about your skirt caught in the gate. Caught by your tail. I can hear my great grandmother now.
You know?
Goodness. Impossible. You had something you wanted to say? I know earlier you were about to say something.
Oh, only thing I was going to say earlier, when we get back to revering our queens, our goddesses as they are, then a lot of stuff that they go through, they wouldn't have to. A lot of things that we go through, the hell, quote unquote, you will be in more heaven because you will be given that reverence. And all she did was explain the dynamics of that divine feminine energy between that heaven that you can be a part of or the hell I can take you through. So she just talked about the dynamic of that energy between that divine feminine energy, how powerful it is. And once you revere it and you lift it up at all times, there's very few times you're going to have to go to hell. But if she take you there, believe you me, as they said earlier, you're gonna wish you ain't never been down there. I ain't want to go back down there no more.
Yeah, like she said it earlier. She said people are sacrificing to go to hell rather than dying to go to heaven. That is powerful.
That's a whole alchemical transformation, though. That's a whole what she just explained about in a jokey joke way. Yeah, she still just explained the dynamic of that whole alchemical process. When you're talking about being reborn, you're talking about understanding again, you're talking about bringing balance within yourself again, between that masculine and feminine energy. And then you be able to revere that feminine energy from where it is. So you would always appreciate it, uplift it, revere it. You will always honor it. So you want to have interactions to where you're manipulating, you're deceiving, you're lying, you're doing. You wouldn't do things of that nature because you will be honoring that energy at all times. So when we get back to really understanding that, a lot of relationships, a lot of these things that we're going through, we wouldn't have to go through.
That needs to be taught, and then you have to wonder if you're still in the process of trying to understand that you have a daughter. I have daughters. You see what I'm saying? So it's not just doing it to them. It's not just doing it to the person that you're hurting. You're also hurting them. That's all feminine That's all the divine feminine. That's all of
That's
that
it.
is.
And you are their example. Crazy part. So then you can't get mad when she hook up with somebody just like you.
Come on.
Yeah.
That come on with it. That might be all she understand. That might be what she attract.
That's all
Oh,
she knows.
Because that's what you taught her.
That's all she knows.
Again.
Right.
Bam.
So she gonna go with what's familiar.
Mhm.
And you want to make that familiar for your child?
Mm.
You can't fake the fun because you can't see what's behind the closed door. That ain't out in the world, walking the street at work, just random Joes. These folks with you 24 hours a day in your what they call it, your witching midnight hour. They know what you do. They seen you. They heard you. They heard you on the phone. Boy, we got a Miss Mockery. She'll repeat everything you say. It won't be in context, but she'll repeat everything you say.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
So, bruh.
Yeah, it's serious, and truthfully, that's a breakdown of society. That's the total breakdown of society, and the idea that the true history about the rise of our community and the fall of our communities based on what's been done to our divine feminine and our culture, 100%.
Absolutely.
And I asked a question. I think I was having a conversation with Anai and you, and we were talking about how children come into this world and the pain.
We didn't ask for it.
Yeah,
they did.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're right. You are right.
Also, that come upon this plane asked to be here. They had a choice.
They just don't
made
remember.
a decision to be here. Yeah. We came here to have that expression at this particular time. I always come back at this particular time. When I go back to sleep this time, I won't be back to the next couple of ages. I come back every 3-4 ages, and I'll come back and see what it look like. I just happen to be back at this particular age right now where we cutting up. But we don't give a fuck.
I bet you're hella freaking disappointed right now, ain't you?
No. Because this is the time where I agreed to wake up. I mean, talking about from a divine realm, not just waking up and people say, "Now I'm conscious." What that mean? That you conscious?
No. I'm like, you always
what
had
that
conscious.
mean?
That you were.
Yeah.
I mean, even when it comes down to it,
does
when
that
you
come
were
with culture
sperm,
and principles? Like, what does that mean when you conscious? That come with culture and principles?
That's it.
Yo, I had a realization. Check this out. So with it, you have the sperm. You know how the sperm has like the head, the little squiggly line behind it. When it comes down to the actual body, I'm like, that is what breaks us down. That right there is like the tree of life. But yet at the same time, the woman gives us that consciousness. You know how they say the Big Bang, where it has that flash? When a woman actually starts to conceive the child, when the sperm hits the egg, it creates a flash. It's the same thing. I'm like, it's pretty much a Big Bang within her uterus. And I'm just like, yo, you know how they say as above, so below? Everything that is happening in the universe is happening in the woman as well. It's repeated in multiple different places throughout this world.
Let me say this, bro. They do not need us.
They really don't. If they do not engage in coitus, they really just clone themselves.
No, it's a figment. It's a figment to believe that they need us. I asked the question after talking to.
I'm talking
like, wait a second. Then what am I here for? I'm obviously here because they wanted us to be here, but it's all coming from them.
That's the genes and
America will never admit. America will never admit that they lost a war to black women. They'll never admit that.
True.
They'll never admit
you have
that.
The Khalifa Islands. The Khalifa Islands, now known as California.
There's so many wars that are unwritten, unspoken of, and they lost a war to our women. They lost a war to our women.
We're talking about a lot of the black men are still losing the war to black women.
But if that's the case, listen. I'm trying to tell you something. Bro. If they lost a war to our women, and they're trying to make us believe that they're the weaker vessel, why are we believing them?
Why are we believing them?
I wanna take that deeper. I want to take that deeper and go into the things that we are dealing with currently. check this out. So, Mr. Impossible, I want to hear your tone too, because you got your head cocked to the side like you're doing a whole presentation photo. So with that, check this out. You remember when they did Roe versus Wade, and they made it to where now we have a divide between the melanated men and the melanated women. So now you have a lot of melanated women feeling like, okay, we have equal rights. I can get my own money. I don't need a nigga. I don't need a man. And you have a lot of men just like, okay, cool. Women rather do, or melanated women rather do this. And the thing that aggravates me is it deals more in the melanated community. It's not dealing with the Asians. It's not dealing with the Caucasus Mountains, the Wahiti tribe. It's not dealing with all the other individuals. It's like they're purposely targeting the melanated people. Because I don't want to call us black. Not everybody looks like you, Mr. Sigma Uno. We're not all that dark. Like,
no, but I understand what you're saying. I understand exactly what you're saying, and I'm going to say this.
Yes, sir.
There's some things that I just can't. And once I learn something, I can't go back in the other direction. Sometimes I'll repeat it for somebody else that don't know to understand it. You see what I'm saying? And I do that because it's a point of awakening. Let's teach. So what I'm saying, that's the only time you hear me repeat it. That's the only time you hear me repeat it. But when I tell you this, there's not been a time on this earth where they didn't exist. They're the first.
Period.
And again, the idea that they're the first period.
Pause. We are talking about the melanated women, right?
Yes.
Yes, we are. That's what we're talking about. So I'll tell you this. If there was a disconnect between us, then that means the disconnect happened and they were in a place that they didn't fully remember.
Yes.
But remember, heaven is inside of them. They birthed the earth. Anyone that's in existence now is from their birth, from that beginning of that birth. It is. So it doesn't take long for them to get back to the place of like, okay, I'm there now. So nigga, I'm gonna need you to come to where I'm at to remember, because I'm remembering. You see what I'm saying? They were counting on us to remember and for us to sacrifice ourselves to protect them. We didn't do that shit. That's the disconnect. You see what I'm saying? That's like a shit. If it's gonna be like this, then I can handle my own. I can take care of my own. You see what I'm saying? I understand that 100%. So there's no fault or blame. I hate to see the disconnect. I hate to see the argument. But the truth of the matter is, they came back to themselves quicker than we did. And then when we did come back to themselves, we were in a state of fear so much of the white person that we was like, well, I know you need help, but I can't really. No. They sacrificed themselves for us. They sacrificed themselves for us to be birthed. So why can't we sacrifice ourselves in the same way? And they're not going to wait around. You know the women in your life. They're not going to wait around for it to happen. They're going to do that shit. And they're going to look back at you like, now what do I need you for?
You know what's wild? There are some men who think that same way, to where they're like, okay, cool. I pay my bills. I got my own car, got my own place. What do I really need a woman for? But they don't realize, you know what I'm talking about, just the physical. I'm like, when it comes down to women, I think I understand now why they call women pussies. Because when it comes down how they have the word cats. Hold on, listen.
I welcome pussy. I welcome the feline.
Look. You know how they call cats pussies? Cats are looking into multiple different realms. Cats are aware of everything that's going around them. They're able to actually manipulate and be in different realms at different times. When you see a cat and they're staring off into the corner, they're seeing things that we cannot see, things that dogs cannot see, things that other animals cannot see. They are able to see a full color spectrum. So when they call a cat a pussy, and hence why they sometimes end up calling a woman a pussy, or the thing between their legs, I call it a front side ass crack. But anyway, when they say the pussy, the vagina, I'm like, oh, because a woman is able to move herself between different realms. Now, me personally, I've never been able to do that. I know Impossible and Sigma Uno, y'all have talked about astral traveling and all that. I have not, without alternate substances, I have not been able to do that. But when it comes down to it, I'm like, women, they're able to see things that we as men are not able to see. Men, we are I understand why they call us dogs. We are those physical.
Listen. Let me say this.
I want to get in on this conversation.
Let me say something real quick, and then I'm gonna let you have it. I'm gonna let you have it. Look,
let me finish.
When they say derogatory, when they speak derogatories, every derogatory language.
The host is talking.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna let it go.
Real quick. When they call us men dogs are physical protectors. They protect us physically. So if somebody were to break into my house right now, my dogs would be like, nah, fuck that shit. Hold up. If I had a cat, cats watch on the spiritual realm. A lot of women right there, they have that. I don't know exactly what it is because I don't know exactly what it is. Y'all have that intuition and all these other things where y'all know what the fuck is going on. Just like how y'all spoke about earlier, to where if you do a woman wrong, she will be playing in your head and everything. Women have that power. And so with it sucks in the fact that in the American language, because I can't call it English, in the American language, the term pussy and the term dog,
derogatory.
Yes, they're derogatory. There's a lot of things that they have in American English to where it's a negative term. But in all honesty, how can we really say it's negative? They have programmed us to believe certain things are negative and added a word and said this is what it is. But in all honesty, I'm not saying that we need to run around calling our women bitches and pussies and all these things like that. But I feel like there is a word that goes towards women that actually elevates them, letting everybody know the power that they have. And for some reason, I feel like they switched the word of what it really was. Because if you think about it, America really is Africa. Because the term, all the countries and cities that we have in America, those were put in Africa much later. All these were in America before that. But I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. But yes,
I think you should add the term, whatever term you're looking for. I think you should ask the women on here what that term is, because
this is Sigma Uno.
If you don't know, you just leave it alone.
I will defer to the priest. I'm happy to answer that.
All right, I'm going to you. What is the term? Because I feel like they have given us a word and we have adopted it, but it's not the real word. What is the word? Please don't say bird.
Pussy is valid. Pussy is a feline. It's a cat. It explains the feminine nature. A cat is very independent. It does what it wants to do. It don't come at you when you kiss at it. It's not very loyal. It's more wild. Even when it's domesticated, it still has a wild nature. And so does a pussy. It's a very wild thing, especially when you are encountering it in intimacy. But pussy, or the association of women with cats or felines, deals with the goddess. When you go back and look at the ways that they represented us in statues and in art, yes. Cats, lions,
even with the Egyptians,
cheetahs, anything, even past the Egyptians, and Neolithic and Paleolithic art, you're going to see the woman depicted as cats.
Yep.
Okay. Also, the feminine energy is considered a negative polarity. So even when we talk about negative, we are negative in polarity in a scientific type of way. Yep. But I want to go into not just why they call us pussies, but also why they call us heifer.
Ooh.
Because one of the oldest depictions of women or the feminine essence is the cow. Even in the Bible, they talk about the worship of the golden calf, which is basically the goddess. Mm-hmm. So,
Shotty Wilson, I hate you so much right now. Shotty Wilson, she's like, pussy power.
That's right, pussy power, absolutely. Even heifer, you was talking about men and how they feel like they don't really need a woman because they can do everything. Yes. And really that is due to industrialism. That is due to the fact he doesn't necessarily need a wife to help him to tame his crops and to make sure he's going to eat and take care of his kids. He can hire a nanny. He can be a single father. He can go to a restaurant, etc. But a woman was a cow was used to symbolize a woman because it's resourceful. With a cow, you can get leather, you can get milk, cheese, butter, yogurt, buttermilk, meat of all sorts and cuts. You can get bones and horns and make things out of it. It's a very wealthy, abundant animal. And a woman who is usually, when the goddesses were depicted, they were associated with fertility. That's dealing with abundance. If things were fertile, you were wealthy. But now we're in a more modernized age where the totality of a woman is no longer really needed. It's not invoked. It's not necessary for survival. Even when it comes to ourselves, we don't have to tap fully into our femininity in order to survive. We're not out here growing things. We're disconnected from ultimately Mother Earth. And as long as we're disconnected from the great femininity that we come from, you're never going to see full femininity in its totality from any group of women.
I agree. You really wouldn't. I mean, when it comes down to women, y'all have so much to give that in just any. Oh, hold up. Okay. All right. Copy. Impossible had to take off. But I mean, true talk, no lie. Oh, it is. Oh, shit. It's 9:00. Yeah, he's putting the kids to sleep. Good night, children. But nah, true talk, no lie. I'm like, there is so much that deals with women to where I don't think that we ever will be able to see the full power of women. As one man dealing with a woman, you're never going to be able to see everything that she has to offer. Because in all honesty, what I've noticed is a lot of women will remain silent until they need to act or move or speak. And so therefore, they tend to allow the man to lead until the man either says like, yo, I need help, which a lot of men, we have that pride, that ego. So we're not going to say shit. But then at some point, the women may be in the background like, they could tap me in. I know what needs to happen. But then the man will be like, okay, no, I need to do this. And he's still thinking that he can handle it all himself. And then
maybe that's why I'm single. Because I've never, in my family dynamic, on both sides, I've never seen a woman play a role in the background. And I've never seen that. And I never seen her ability to show up and be frontline and control things, compromise the men that she was with. And it did not compromise his masculinity. And I think that the fact that
compromise it. I'm not saying it would compromise it.
Hold on, I want to finish. I think that
I apologize.
It's not towards you, but I think in general, the fact that men want women to deduce themselves in order for them to exist and be secure in what portion of masculinity they have means that maybe they are 3/5 of a man, and that's just not what Black men, just in general. In fact, science is showing that the Y chromosome does not have as much genetic material than the X chromosome, and in fact, it is continuously losing genetic material.
Yep, it's actually.
So when we talk about he's not a man, maybe that's valid because
genetically you're correct.
It's at a lower level now, and I think this is why it was important for men to have rites of passage, to go out into the wilderness and know how to hunt and work with the herbs and do things like that, because that helped to keep certain genes, the portion of genes that they had, alive. Now again, because of industrialism, you don't have to go out and hunt. You don't have to provide for me. But then at the same time, you'll complain if I depend on the white man to work a 9 to 5.
Yo, Is that you, Mr. Simuno? I feel like I'm hearing impossible. Like,
Can you turn that music in the background down some?
I only got here like 7.
You do? Oh.
Yeah, it's only at 7.
Oh,
Who's
wow.
on the line? Hold on, let me double check.
I'm sensitive.
Oh, correction. It was at 5.
Wow.
Damn, you got some keen ass ears. Let me just turn the motherfucker off.
Hey, you know that's why they come to me.
There you go.
Yeah, you be hearing a goddamn needle drop in the middle of a fucking tsunami. But anyway,
I'm just
you are not telling any lies. You are not telling any lies at all. I mean, I think
the aspiration
said it earlier, not earlier, but she said it in the previous podcast. What is it? Strong. What is it? Hard times make for. God, what was it? What was it, Mr. Sigmundo? You said hard times make for. It was like hard times make for. Hard times make for weak. No, weak men make for hard times. Hard times make for soft men make for. Damn it! What the fudge was it? I'm about to go back and look at it. But it was something to where it showed the evolution and de-evolution of the amount of work that you put in. So therefore,
men are not as strong as they used to be. I was raised around.
Really I was reading something earlier today. Go ahead.
As the men are not as strong as they used to be. I was raised around men that we hunted, we fished, we fixed our own cars. I mean, we look, everything about what we learned was an apprenticeship. I learned from my grandfather, I learned from my dad, I learned from my grandma. I learned a lot from my grandmother and them. I learned a lot from them. But because they were strong, that's what they were teaching, that's what they poured out. So looking at what's happening now, and you hit the nail on the head when you said rite of passage, because there are no rite of passages. I was
deserving rights at this point.
No, I was looking for ones for my sons, and when I tell you I asked, I can't tell you how many older men I asked about rites of passage that couldn't tell me where to begin with it. So I started creating for myself. I was like, okay, they got to know the history. They got to get out there and fish. They got to get out there and know what wildlife is. They got to know what we have to know what all this stuff is. So we got out and we did that ourselves. But do I feel like my son is where he needs to be or as strong as he can be? No, I think he could be stronger, a lot stronger. But like she says, as time passes, the less we get out there and do it ourselves, the less there's going to be for us. I mean, look, we're going to die out before y'all die out. That's the truth of the matter.
Absolutely.
That's the truth of the matter. It's the truth of the matter. And that's I'm not trying to. Right, and I'm not trying to demean. I'm not trying to demean anyone because I really believe that we can get back there if we start with the kids and we don't slack on what they need to learn. Boys, look, my grandfather, they used to push me. The first thing when I come to visit my grandfather and them, get down on the floor and let me see how many push-ups you can do. Now get on your knuckles to do it. That was what they were teaching. It was like, okay, I need to be tough. And so that was inbred in me. Now you tell me to get on the ground and do something.
Child abuse.
It's child abuse? What you mean? They need to learn how to do push. They need to learn how to push weights. I mean, and it's like fighting the world because you want your young man to be a young man and to know what it's like to be able to take care of himself. It's like fighting the world. And when you end up in court about you teaching your son how to do something, that's when you know we have problems. We got real serious problems, and we need to take them out to the backwoods and teach them when they come out of the backwoods, like in the real rite of passage, then you know that they're ready. But a lot of them not ready. A lot of them are not ready.
All right, so with it, I usually end up doing gratitude and what you learn. But with this episode, I feel, you know what? Let's discuss solutions. So what I want to do on this one is let's talk about the solutions of what the topic was, of how to bring heaven to earth. Let's talk about the solutions of how to bring heaven to earth, the steps and things that you can do to manifest, to bring what it is that you're looking for. Because like we discussed earlier, heaven to everybody is not the same. So with that, I'm going to run it straight off. You already know ladies first, so I'm gonna have Mr. Sigma Uno go first because she is a normal. Then I'm gonna have Priestess Imani since you are new. Then we're gonna go Mr. Sigma Uno, and I'll close it out. All right?
Okay. I'm gonna say what I've always said. You need to, if you want something different, you've got to do something different. Okay. You've got to do that self inventory. You have got to turn yourself into your own Fortune 500 company. You need to take that self inventory. You need to have some kind of business plan. If you do not have the attributes and what you need to get to where you need to go to, you need to find those, whether it's in yourself or make connections. Make connections, find a mentor, find a way to make what you want to have happen. Whether it be going through your affirmations and building affirmations to build your own network, or to first and foremost build yourself.
Yes.
Self-inventory, fix all the things, or as many of the things that you can fix on your own with regards to just your overall well-being. If you've got addictions, if you've got hurts, if you've got these things, address those. Some you may not be able to fix on your own, but if you can address them, acknowledge that they are there, and find somebody along the way to help you fix those problems so that you can manifest what your heaven on earth is. You can manifest your dreams, your wish, and your desires. Nobody else can do it for you. You've got to do it yourself.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Priestess Imani.
Absolutely, sis. I love what you shared. Basically everything that she said. But for real. But also when we're talking about heaven, right? Heaven is not just a state of being for ourselves. It is something that we should be able to share with others. And one thing that we share is this planet. And you can have heaven on earth if you're willing to work for it. Something that I would advise people to do to help create a better place for us now and in the future, when you die, heaven should still be going on because the work that you did is still living on. Go out and pick up garbage. Go out and teach other people about how to keep nature clean. Be charitable, be giving. And when you sow those good seeds, it makes the things that you're trying to do for yourself easier because you sowed the right seeds for someone else. You sowed the right seeds for the future, and you paid it back to where you came from, to source, which one of our sources is planet Earth. So also just spiritually as well. Sometimes I get the question of why certain things don't work as effectively for us as they did for our ancestors. And one of the key things is that we don't respect this planet the way that we need to. So let's work better on creating heaven on earth and putting people in power and in place that are going to facilitate that process.
Mr. Sigma Uno.
Well, for me, like I said, like I was saying earlier, we're here to help each other, and of course, we can't envision we can't envision a dream for one another, but we can support their dream when they're ready to begin to change. I believe that you don't have to die before you get to heaven. I believe that if we build enough, if we teach enough, and the dream and the vision starts early, then they'll have enough in them to know that they need to surround themselves or be surrounded or be the surrounding for people that are able to begin to build a dream. That's what legacy is about for me. So I'm not dreaming now just for my generation or for myself. I'm dreaming for future generations, my kids' kids, and their kids after that. That's why it's important to begin to make a shift. I think Impossible and I were talking about this thing where he wanted to begin to support kids, and to begin to teach kids. So the strength that we know is lost it can be restored, and it can happen. It's again, like we were talking about with regards to our queens and the women in our life and the women in our families, if we begin to revere them like they're supposed to be, and not just default to derogatory terms and think that we're okay, it's okay for us to do that, then we will put ourselves in a better position. I believe our earth is dying because they're not revered, and that's the truth of the matter for me. But that's the basis for me. That's where we can begin to help people create their own heaven.
I agree. I agree. Boom. So what I want to do is go ahead and say, first of all, do not jump off after this because we're gonna have a discussion afterwards. So later on, this will flow in. But for everybody who is on the panel, just stay where you are. All right. For me, for Let's Discuss Solutions, as we spoke about earlier, it's where my biggest thing that resonated with me was into believe in yourself. The power of believing in yourself. When you believe in yourself, you are able to do so many different things. If you don't believe in yourself, anything that you tell yourself is not going to feel right. So if you sit there and write things on your mirror and you're sitting there, let's say, doing the breath of life to where you're saying, I value myself, I honor myself, I respect myself, but you don't believe it's your damn self, you're not doing anything for yourself. How Priestess Amani said, when it comes to manifestations, you cannot just sit there and say, I will become a billionaire. It doesn't work like that. You need to believe in yourself. And just like how I grew up in a Baptist household, my mother always used to say, it was like, when you pray about something, you still need to put in the work in order to get it. You can't just pray about something and think that it's going to come to you. You need to put in the work and believe in it as well. You can't sit there and be like, you know what? I'm in 10 years, I'm going to be a red tab in Muay Thai, but yet you're not going to training every day, or you're finding reasons of why you can't go to training. But when the 10 years hit, you expect to be a red tab and have the credentials to do what it is that you feel that you need to do to hit your 20-year goal to have your own gym. It doesn't work like that. And I'm speaking personally for myself. Like, I'm not going to get deep into that. But when it comes down to it, you cannot sit there and if you are not believing in the things that you say, you cannot follow through. You are not going to be able to achieve those things because part of the process of manifestation is doing the work. You can't just write something down before you go to bed, read it out loud, wake up in the morning, read it again, and think it's just going to magically fucking happen. It doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. We have to do something as well. You cannot sit here and still be living the life of a YNBG, anything along those lines. I'm not going to get into that culture. Old is old, new is new. I just forget the old. But you need to sit there and literally, how we spoke about earlier, you need to change that ideology. You need to change the way that you think. Because if you are sitting here constantly saying, you know what, that motherfucker is going to die, but at the same time going and saying, I am a new person, while you're still acting off of the things that were of old. As I just said, old is old, new is new. I am new to the old. I'm reminding myself that, you know what? I know I shouldn't be thinking like that. I shouldn't be acting like that. So let me move on to something different of where it is that I'm trying to go. I've been saying that for a few years, and there's a lot of things that I have stopped doing that I used to do in the way that I used to think. I stopped thinking, which is funny because Mr. Sigma Uno called me out on it once before. He was like, you're not like that. Stop that. And I was like, my guy, I am a 180 of what I used to be. You can talk to my whole family and they will tell you something different. My family can literally tell you of shit that I used to do, but I don't want to be like that because I know in my heart that's not who I am. So when it comes down to it, was I putting on a facade based off of my surroundings of what I felt needed, what would have me be accepted? Because I'm not going to lie. For me personally, the way that I was brought up, I didn't feel like I belonged to the family that I was in. So I was doing things that made me feel, I was doing things to where I felt that I would fit into those around me. But when it comes down to it, the family that I'm in is the family that I asked for because I know who I am personally. And with that, that's the reason why I was not successful in the things that I was doing. Old is old, new is new. I am new, so forget the old. with me saying that I am new, I honestly have to realize, you know what, I am old, because the new that I'm trying to say that I am is new in this lifetime, but in the previous lifetime, I feel like that is what I really was. So the old that I'm saying, I did not believe myself because I did not truly know myself. And with me not knowing myself, anything that I was saying was not happening because of the fact that I knew that was going against of what I really am. You have to have the power of believing in yourself. So making those solutions, as we said earlier, know who you are. Once you know who you are, then you can actually start manifesting the things that you are trying to manifest. Because if you're going to sit there and say, you know what, I'm a pimp, but everything in your heart is saying that you are a healer, those two contradict each other, because to be a pimp, you need to be a narcissist. But how are you going to heal somebody being a narcissist? You're going to be battling yourself. You need to find out exactly who you are. Believe in yourself. Find your purpose. Love yourself. Believe in yourself. So that way you can do the things that you're supposed to be doing. We all are gears in a clock moving together. So if you are that gear that is broken, you're not helping the collective. You're going to fuck us all up, because we're not going to be able to do the things that we need to do. We'll be putting in all this effort and achieving things, but we're not going to be able to reach the heights of where we need to be, because all of us are connected. So with that, if I'm talking to Mr. Sigma Uno, and let's say Mr. Sigma Uno, he knows how to butcher cows or something, but at the same time, I'm like, all right, cool. He knows how to butcher cows. I know how to hunt cows, but I don't feel like hunting, and I happen to be his main source of getting the cows. How is he going to be able to do what he needs to do if nobody else is doing it? Because he doesn't know how to do it. He doesn't know how to hunt. He doesn't know how to search, how to scan from right to left rather than left to left to right, to actually look for these certain things or things that needs to happen. We are discounting individuals, and instead of us actually being able to help people get to where they need to be and elevate ourselves as well, we are stunting ourselves and stunting other people. Everybody is connected. I read a book called The Connector. And with that, it seems like, and I realized for myself that I am a connector. I bring people together. A lot of us have different purposes that all end up connecting other individuals. And we have the connector, it brings everybody together to be able to do the things that they need to do. One thing that I love about this platform is I use it for my mental health. Whether I monetize or not, true talk no lie, really don't care. I just want to reach those that need to hear the things that we are speaking about. Because there's a lot of individuals who are being, the way that they feel, they're being told that, oh, that doesn't matter, you need to focus on this. They're not getting that validation. So therefore, they're abandoning what it is that their purpose is, and they're trying to find something else. So with that, I'm trying to bring it to them. That's the only reason I say share this, because in order for knowledge to turn into wisdom, it has to be shared. Wisdom is brought to the masses. Knowledge is something that you know. With that, the lessons learned. Be who you are, believe in yourself. That's what I took the most from today. So with that, relax your mind. It's divine time.